Hello, Nation. Welcome to our series of analyzing sophisticated scientific journal articles into practical lay terminology, mainly to get the benefits of what they discovered in these studies. Now, this study is probably one of the most important studies you could look at when it comes to hypoglycemia fears, written by some famous authors. Oh, yeah, Dr. Bill Polonsky of the Behavioral Diabetes Institute and me. And we put this other guy in there who did the typing for us. Identifying the worries and concerns about hypoglycemia in adults with type 2 diabetes. Okay, Bill, briefly tell us what that study showed.
Sure. Well, this is part of our TCOID research registry, by the way, which we're very proud of.
Please make sure to join. The website's on the bottom of your screen.
Absolutely. And more than 400 participants from the registry, all people with type 2, were willing to fill out this survey. Again, put together by you, me, Larry Fisher, and Danielle Hessler up at UC San Francisco. And what we were looking at is trying to look at a new way of understanding what are people's real concerns about hypoglycemia. How fearful, how scared are they? There was this old questionnaire that's been used since the mid-'80s. Pretty good. But we said, are there things that were missed on that? Can we do a better job? And so really what we found is that there's three major bunches of stuff people are really worried about. Number one, of course, is that they're just, well, for a subset of people, they're terrified. I mean, really frightened about low blood sugars. A second cluster of stuff people told us about is how much work they're doing to avoid ever going low. I don't even leave my house much, or I would never go anywhere without having lots and lots of supplies. But I don't mean just being careful, but really over careful.
Sure, eating extra food to get high, exactly. So in fear of getting low.
That's probably the best example, right? And then the third bunch, the cluster, which it turns out is probably the most important one, is something no one's ever looked at before. It's not how fearful you are. It's not how much you're avoiding. It's sort of the opposite. It's how confident do you feel that you can be safe? How confident do you feel you can go to sleep at night, that you can drive a car? Remember, this is for people with type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
And again, we found all these were big issues, but what we found that was most interesting in this very first study in this is that it was confidence that was related to A1Cs, not the others. That if you weren't confident, you tended to have much higher A1C. So we think this questionnaire is probably going to be useful for type 1s when we get a chance to go back to our registry and try it out with folks with type 1. We think this is going to make a big difference in helping us to devise new strategies that can make a difference and help people conquer their fears and conquer their worries.
Well, you know, most of the time when healthcare professionals talk about hypo, they're talking about type 1s. And they don't realize that even though folks with type 2 diabetes may not be as prone to getting hypo, it still creates a lot of fear and anxiety, and also has a major influence how they take care of their diabetes. So, Bill, what are some closing words for our viewers? How could this study help them?
Well, I think it's important to acknowledge that if you have type 2 diabetes, being worried and concerned about hypoglycemia is pretty normal. And it's not just people on insulin, it's people not on insulin as well. And that we understand that if we can help people deal with how worried they are, deal with how maybe over avoidant they are, but most importantly, if we can work to help people feel more confident they can be safe, give them the tools they need, that's really what's critical, and we're looking forward to devising more of those.
Being confident that they are safe, I think we all could relate to that. Make sure you go to tcoiddiabetesregistry.org and sign up so you could be eligible to be involved in some of these clinical validated questionnaires. You do it right from the privacy of your own home, and it's very HIPAA compliant. We don't know who you are.
Yeah, just one more thing I wanted to add.
Yeah, please.
I think one of the things that's so exciting and why I was excited about getting this study done and published is because we've got so many cool new tools, medications and devices that are helping people to feel safer, and be more confident. And we think that these kinds of questionnaires and approaches are going to help document how powerful and effective those are. And hopefully that means it's going to be easier to get insurance companies and governments to cover them as well, which is really nice.
Yeah, those son of a... Oh. And you know what? You're going to hear a lot more about continuous glucose monitors specifically made for people with type 2 diabetes to make you more confident. So long, Nation. Thanks, Bill.
My pleasure. Thanks.